All right, so in this video, we're going to explain how this slider works. Let's say, for example, you want to use as a quantity multiplier to multiply another object. For example, you could be selling a hat or shoes, which is, a single item charge. But what if what if the person would like to purchase multiple hats and shoes? Then you can use a slider as a quantity multiplier. By doing that for the pricing structure of the slider, you just call it a quantity multiplier, and you'll notice this message gets above it. So it disregards that. So now if you go, it doesn't matter what number you choose, it'll always be 0 until you choose something above it. Now 20 times 5 is 100. Or for example, you can choose the hat, which is 3 times 10 is 30. So now it becomes a quantity multiplier because it's in the same subsection. So the slider has to be inside of a subsection in order for it to be a multiplier. Therefore, if you want the slider not to multiply above here, what you would do is you would add a new subsection, and then you would add element and then slider. We'd call this slider number 2. And this could be for something else. Let's say, for example, you want to sell something 20 units at $2 per unit, or euros, or whatever it is that your currency is. You can see those changes here. So this doesn't have any bearing, and then this has its own bearing. So let's say we do a hat times 5. We go in the detailed list. Now this slider is multiplying this, and this slider down here is multiplying that. And that's it. This is basically how a slider works for Stylish Cost Calculator. While we're in this video, I might as well show you a little bit about the different slider modes. So for this slider here, because it's inside the same subsection, you would do a quantity multiplier. You could also do a default pricing as well if you want. Let's call this the quantity selector of the outfit. Let's say you wanted to add an extra $2 for every time the person uses the slider right here. Add that $2, so 2 times 2 plus this one right here, then times 10. Now the slider is adding an additional $4 on top of being a multiplier for the elements that are above it. This slider here is independent because it's in its own subsection, so it's independent and doesn't have any quantity modifying properties. There's also the bulk discount as well, which I'll showcase to you on this slider here. But before I do, I wanted to mention that you could add other elements above the slider as well. For example, you can add a drop down, and let's just put it up above here. And we'll say that this is, I'm not sure, maybe the quality of the clothes or something like that. And you can have standard, and then maybe that's $100 extra charge. Maybe it's an extra $100 charge or something like that. And maybe this one's called premium. And then maybe that would be like a $200 extra charge per shirt. Or no, let's do something like $2 extra per shirt for standard, or even 0. So the standard won't charge anyone anything extra. But if they want premium, it would be an extra $2 more. So let's go ahead and do that example. Let's save and refresh. So now the person would choose premium, or let's just say standard. Okay. They would say a hat. So 2 times 10 is $20. This is also getting added into it. So let's just ignore this. And so it's $26 for this right here. But if they go premium, as you can see, it added that extra dollar amount, $4, right? Which is the 2 times 2, 2 times 2. And that's what added that extra 4. So the slider it's a very powerful element that can be used for multiple things. You can use it for multiplying any elements that are above the slider in the same subsection, or you can use it as a default slider, just like how most sliders are used. Or you can use it as, let's say, a bulk discount, which is you can give a price range and you can give a break. So you can say, okay, between 1 and 20 is $10 per unit. But if the person purchases between 20 and 40 units, it gets to be $9 per unit. So they actually save 10%. They save $1 per unit. And this would be the bulk discount slider here. So if they go from 1 to 15 and you go on here, the bulk discount slider is still 10. So we have to go above 20 in order to get it. So once we're at 29, we go here and boom, it's a cheaper per unit. You can also you can show the savings as well, which is really nifty. So once they start saving money, they can see it. So once we go above that 20, boom, you show that you just saved money. So this is a good way to emphasize the savings to your users as well.